I thought maybe we could use some help on setting up problems for 1.4a. So what I'm going to do is go through some of these problems and give you some ideas on ways to solve them. For 1 and 2, solve each system by graphing. That means you need to get y by itself if it isn't already by itself. In problem 1, if we have if we have x plus 2y is equal to 2, and you want to get y by itself, subtract x, and that gives you 2y equals negative x plus 2, and then divide both sides by 2, and you would have y equals, you'd have negative x over 2, which is negative 1/2 x, and 2 over 2, which is 1. And then you'd graph that line. Make sure you get your variable or your equations in the right form as you set up these systems to solve. Once you find your point of intersection, make sure you verify your results. For this section, you can use substitution or elimination. Now they both always work, so that's the trade-off. You can use either system and they'll work every time. Sometimes one method is more efficient than the other. I would say anytime you're using a method that involves a lot of fractions, avoid that and use elimination. So if you use substitution and you end up with a bunch of fractions in your work, maybe you try again using elimination. Sometimes you might get x equals and y equals a number. Sometimes things cancel out and they could be true or false statements. Make sure to show all work to support your answers. It's the back side of the worksheet where I thought we'd spend some time. For 7 through 10, read the word problem and create a system of equations. Then solve the system. So remember in your notes, we had those 5 steps. Read the problem, assign variables, create the system, solve, and then check to see if your answers make sense. Number 7, the sum of 2 numbers is 172. The first is 8 less than 5 times the second. Find the 2 numbers. So if we're trying to assign variables, we're looking for 2 numbers. So I'll let x be the first number and y be the second number. Those are the 2 numbers we're looking for. In the first sentence, it says the sum of the 2 numbers is 172. Sum would indicate we're adding them together, x plus y. Is separates one side of the equation from the other, so I'll put equals 172. Then it says the first is, so is again is going to separate the left side from the right side, and the first number we said was x. So the first is would be x equals 8 less than 5 times the second. 8 less than means we're going to subtract 8 from something, but 5 times the second means we'd multiply 5 times y. Thinking order of operations, we would multiply first and then subtract 8. So the first is 8 less than 5 times the second. We have created our system. So now I'm going to let you solve. You could use substitution or elimination. Let's move on to the next one. Mrs. Fry has 125 coins, all quarters and dimes, in a jar. If the value of the coins is $20.75, how many of each type of coin does she have? So we're looking for types of coins. We'll assign our 2 variables accordingly. Notice we have quarters and dimes in a jar. So I'll let x equal the number of quarters, and I'll let y equal the number of dimes. Now it says I have 125 coins total. That means all of the quarters plus all of the dimes should equal the total number of coins in the jar. X plus y equals 125. Then it says the value of the coins. When we think about value, we know that quarters are worth 25 cents. Whoopsie, that's a 5 right there. And dimes would be worth 10 cents. To add that then to a new equation, each quarter should have a value of 25 cents. Therefore, if we take 25 times the number of quarters, that's the value of all the quarters. For dimes, if we do the same thing, 10 times y, that's all the value of the dimes in the jar. Now here's where we have to be careful. Notice I didn't use parentheses with the 25 and the 10. I consider them 25 cents and 10 cents. Now if the value of all the coins is $20.75, that would actually be 2,075 in just cents. So I move the decimal over for the value of the quarters, the value of the dimes, and the total value of all the coins in the jar. Voila, just like that, we have our system. Go ahead and solve that system using substitution or elimination. And when you think about your final answer, make sure your answer seems reasonable. Negative numbers, probably not a good idea, and fractions wouldn't make sense for numbers of coins. This next one is always a good one. It says Marty is 5 times as old as Roberta. In 4 years, she will be 4 times as old as Roberta. Find each person's present age. So we need the age for each of them. I'll let X equal Marty's age, and Y will be Roberta's age. It says Marty is, that would be X equals 5 times as old as Roberta. Well, 5 times mean we'd multiply Roberta's age by 5, and that's how old Marty would be. It's the next 3 words that make the second equation significant. In 4 years. So underline in 4 years. Think about both of their ages. Marty would be 4 years older, and so would Roberta. What I'm going to do now is put X plus 4 on one side and Y plus 4 on the other. That's how old they both would be in 4 years. And now let's compare their ages to each other. It says in 4 years, she will be 4 times as old as Roberta. 4 times means we're going to have to multiply Roberta's age by 4. But here's where it's tricky. If we set Marty's age equal to the new type of Roberta's age, we have to take 4 times what her age is in 4 years. Not 4 times what her age is now. So the parentheses are pretty significant in this problem. And again, now we have our system. Solve using substitution or elimination. Once you find your 2 numbers, see if it makes sense in the green row and in the blue row. Last but not least, we have a picture problem. A rectangular kitchen is twice as long as it is wide, and its perimeter is 84 feet. Find the dimensions of the kitchen. Well, if we look at the picture, we already have our variables given to us, L and W. Let's actually go to the second part of the problem where it talks about perimeter. Perimeter is the sum of all the sides. Like if you were going to put a fence around that kitchen. I don't know why you'd put a fence, but that's okay. Neither here nor there. Perimeter then is twice the length plus twice the width. That would be adding all 4 sides together. Now let's go back up to the top. The rectangular kitchen is twice as long as it is wide. That means the length is twice the width because it's twice as long as it is wide. And then there you go. Oh, actually, we need to plug in the 84, don't we? We're not quite ready yet. If perimeter is 84, I'm going to substitute that in that equation. 2L plus 2W. Right here is your system. Solve that and then see if your length and width make sense. I hope that these tips are helpful. Please try your best to complete this worksheet and be ready for class tomorrow.